Hello everybody and welcome to another round of Championship predictions. Hope you all had a good weekend, and now we're looking forward to a full fixture list of Championship games this coming week, spread across Tuesday and Wednesday evenings. The league table is really, after the weekend's results, some were surprising eye-openers once again, and we've really got some interesting positions now in the table. And perhaps not everything is as cut and dried as perhaps I've been suggesting it has been over the last few weeks. It's really becoming every single match now, I think, has got something on it, and we'll sort of take that a little bit further as we go through the fixtures for this week. So starting at Tuesday night then, the first match is Blackburn versus Millwall, and Millwall, after their real 5 losses on the bounce, wasn't it, I think? They've now perked up a little bit, and more than a little bit, and they had another good win at the weekend against one of those 3 sides, or 3 or 4 sides that I suggested you'd want to be playing at this time of the season, who are probably now looking over their shoulders themselves, and we'll come to that a little bit later. But yes, Millwall managed to beat Watford 1-0 at home, a good hard fought win, I'm sure. And Blackburn, again, now they're only 1 point from the drop zone. It's incredible, really, how it's all closed up. Blackburn lost to Swansea, so Swansea giving themselves a little bit of breathing space and put Blackburn back in the trouble zone. So Blackburn versus Millwall, and I think Millwall will get something out of the game. I think Blackburn at home will still offer something. I don't think either side's going to manage to put each other away. So I'm going to go here for a draw. It's going to be Blackburn 1, Millwall 1. And next up we have Coventry versus Rotherham, and Coventry suffered another Friday night loss. A difficult tie, a difficult match, to be fair, away at West Brom. And West Brom have cemented themselves in the top 6 at the moment now. 6 points clear of Preston in 8th and 4 clear of Norwich in 7th. So yeah, it was a tough old ask for Coventry, especially after the previous week when they were sort of humbled at home against Preston. So they've had a couple of losses on the trot, and are really now, I think, well, they're only 5 points behind. Who knows what's going to happen? 11 games to go. And they're home to Rotherham, which Rotherham, as I say, although they are pluckily giving teams a game, they're still chalking up the losses, unfortunately. And I think Coventry will just about sneak it again. But Rotherham, as I say, no pushovers at the moment, but again, not picking up the points either, but having fun, as they say, sort of cheerio to the Championship, unfortunately for them. So I'm going to say Coventry to sneak this one. Coventry 2, Rotherham 1. Then we have Hull and Birmingham. Hull surprised me a bit, not scoring on Saturday in a 0-0 draw with Preston. I guess 2 sides so tight at the top in that little bracket just around the playoff line. They cancel each other out. I'm guessing, I didn't see any of the match, but a goalless draw suggests that. I think Hull will get back to scoring ways, but Birmingham are one of those teams now, 4 teams on 38 points at the bottom. It's all getting pretty desperate wherever you look, and it's getting even more difficult to predict anything in this division at the moment, to be honest, the way it's all panning out. I'm going to give Hull a home win. I'm going to give them a 3-1 home win. I think they will get back to get their scoring boots on again on Tuesday night. Excuse me, and they need to. They just again, it's tight up there, 56. They're just owning that 6th spot at the moment, so they'll want to see this as a chance to cement that, and I think they will. Liam Rosina doing a great job there, young coach, very young coach, doing extremely well. Ex-player as well for Hull, so he's certainly got things going there. So I'm going to say Hull City 3, Birmingham City 1, as I say. Then we have Leeds against Stoke, and Leeds no longer own second spot. They've been gazumped by Ipswich at the weekend. You've only got to drop a couple of points and it all all changes in certain areas of this division. And Huddersfield did amazingly well, really, to hold Leeds 1-1 on Saturday lunchtime, down to 10 men for all of the second half. So that was no mean feat to only concede the one goal. They were 1-0 up at half-time, but down to 10 men. And Leeds surprisingly had an off day in front of goal. I didn't see the game either, but yeah, you would suggest that they would have somehow managed to get a second goal for the winner. But they didn't, and their winning run comes to an end. Yeah, Stoke, right down in the bottom three again, even though they did win at the weekend. They're still in the bottom three. I read an article over the weekend that they're now possibly looking for, they're going to join the two managers to be sacked club group, I think. They're talking about shifting Schumacher, their current manager. He's only been there since November, I think. So they're on there, or they could be on their third manager soon. But they did win at the weekend against Middlesbrough. One of those three sides, Bristol City, Middlesbrough and Watford, who seem to have been on 44 points forever at the moment, and are now getting dragged into it, to say the least. So Middlesbrough lost to Stoke. Stoke saw them off 2-0. But I think it's all going to be too much on Tuesday night. I think it'll be Leeds United 2, Stoke City 0. Yeah, I think they'll be back to winning ways. Next we have Sheffield Wednesday versus Plymouth. Sheffield Wednesday now really give themselves a chance. 4 wins in 5, 35 points, just 4 points behind 17th, which is Blackburn. So it's just so tight down there now. And Sheffield Wednesday have pulled themselves right back into the frame to have a chance. They're playing home to Plymouth, a long old trip for Plymouth on a Tuesday night. Not much fun for them or their supporters, unfortunately. That's the nature of the Championship. So many midweek games. So we've got Sheffield Wednesday looking then to chalk up their 4th successive win, can you believe? And I think they will. I think they've got momentum going now. They've had a nice, what I call a decent run of fixtures for them to perhaps get themselves going. They're certainly showing some fight now. A big crowd will be guaranteed at Hillsborough on Tuesday, and I think that will help sway them towards victory. Only narrowly. I think it'll be Sheffield Wednesday 2, Plymouth 1, and if they do win, I think almost certainly Sheffield Wednesday will be out the bottom 3, which, considering the start they had to the season and everything else that's gone on, would be just phenomenal. But obviously, you've got to stay there then. It's still nearly a chunk of the season to go. Okay, we move on next then to Sunderland versus Leicester City. I can't quite make Sunderland out at the moment. They've fallen away completely from the playoffs. They're 9 points behind. They've had 4 losses on the trot. Unfortunately, the caretaker manager hasn't made any impact, but the fixtures haven't been that kind either, I don't think. They're playing Leicester, who've now lost 3 league games on the trot, which is, which I think we'd have all lost money if we were having a little gamble on those 3 matches. I think they will, I know I said this Saturday, but I think this time they will stop their little mini poor run of losses and sneak the win at Sunderland. Even though under lights at Sunderland, it's going to be a good atmosphere. Sunderland nothing to lose really. They can't go up, they can't go down, he says hesitantly at the moment, but 9 points cushion should be enough with so many teams involved. So Sunderland, I think, will give them a decent game, but I think Leicester, because they can feel the heat now, certainly from Ipswich at the moment, and to a lesser extent Leeds, coming up behind them after all this time being at the top. So I'm going to go Leicester City to win that game. It's Sunderland 1, Leicester City 2. Then we have Ipswich and Bristol City, and Ipswich have completely got going again now, found their feet. totally. 5 wins on the trot, 75 points, only 3 behind Leicester, and they own second place at the moment. But obviously that's probably an ever-changing picture. I don't think it'll change on Tuesday night though. I can see Ipswich putting Bristol City away. Bristol City have completely lost their way at the moment, stuck on 44 points, going towards the team, that clutch of teams on 38, 39, just waiting to snare them into their grasp. So I don't see their form improving on Tuesday night. I can see Ipswich running out comfortable winners, and it'll be Ipswich Town 3, Bristol City 0. The only thing, I suppose, just on that, these teams are sort of getting drawn into it. There are so many teams, that's in the favour of all of the teams really, that there are so many trying to shake off the relegation threat. And I think that makes it even more interesting that there is nearly half the division is involved in a relegation battle. Incredible, really. So that's Ipswich and Bristol City. Then we go to Cardiff and Huddersfield. And Cardiff, who won that 7-side derby at Ashton Gate on Saturday lunchtime, 1-0. By all accounts, it was a pretty drab game, but Cardiff came out on top, and that's all that matters to them. And Huddersfield, as I say, had a really good performance against Leeds, a 1-1 draw with 10 men for over half the game, I think. So they come out with a lot of credit from that. And I just think they might sneak it. I'm gonna take Huddersfield to pinch the points here, just to back up their recent good performances. So I'm going to go Cardiff City 1, Huddersfield 2 in that one. And staying with the Wednesday night fixtures then, continuing with those, we've got Middlesbrough, next up Middlesbrough versus Norwich City. Middlesbrough, one of those teams that were safe-ish a few weeks ago, but they've stuck on 44 points. They're looking now over their shoulders at the teams gathering up behind them, and they can't really buy a point at the moment. They've lost 4 out of 5, so it's a worry for them. They're playing Norwich, who eased past Sunderland at the weekend, to continue their decent form. They just seem to be, always seem to be 1 point behind the line, and they're still that at the moment. And Hull City are owning 6th place, with Norwich just trying to get into that top 6. I think there's a chance that they'll go out to Middlesbrough and continue their decent form. Middlesbrough certainly have a bit more to play for than they did a few matches ago, and they won't want to increase that pressure. But I think it's going to be Norwich that will take the honours in this one. A long trip for them on a Tuesday night, but their confidence is pretty good, and I think they'll score a couple of goals, and it'll be Middlesbrough 0, Norwich City 2. Then we have Southampton and Preston North End. And Preston North End, as I say, fought out a goalless draw with Hull. Neither side desperate to give each other an inch, I assume, in that match. Whereas Southampton, as is their typical of their season, were involved in a 7-goal thriller at Birmingham. And as typical as recent games have gone for them, they managed to get a win very late on to win it 4-3. Incredible, really, once again, another 7 goals. It's 114 goals now in matches involving Southampton. They are the entertainers without doubt. Preston will be a hard nut to crack. They don't give much away, do Preston, and they've just given themselves a chance. Their manager was under pressure. They ran low not so many weeks ago, and now they're trying just to have a late surge for that top 6. But I think they'll come unstuck down at Southampton on Wednesday night. Southampton will score more goals. I think they'll knock in 2 or 3. So I'm going to go Southampton 3, Preston North End 1. 2 to go then, both to finish the Wednesday night fixture list. It's Watford versus Swansea. Watford, 44 points, still need to get something moving. Swansea, they managed to pull off a 2-1 win against Blackburn at the weekend, so that was handy points for them, very timely considering what's going on down there at the moment. So I think Watford, they desperately need to come up trumps soon, just to sort of feel a bit, get near that 50-point marker, which may or may not be enough, but it's certainly usually the sort of milestone that teams aim for. So Watford against Swansea, I think Swansea, not a great deal to play for, maybe 42 points, well, you never know. Still a bit of a concern maybe over there, but I think, as I say, so many teams involved, they've got enough quality to get out, to stay up. So I think Watford will ease past them. Watford 2, Swansea 1. And finally, the last fixture, last but certainly not least, Queen's Park Rangers versus West Bromwich Albion. And Queen's Park Rangers, their away form has been excellent. Even when they weren't doing that well, they were still picking up points away from home, and that's continued even though they started to improve. Going up to the league leaders Leicester and winning 2-1. I'm told it was it was a bit of a smash and grab, but again, who cares? They went there, they got the result, they got the 3 valuable points that pushes them up to 19th on one of those cluster of teams on 38 points. And they're playing West Bromwich Albion, who are sort of solidly keeping their top 6 spot intact, 59 points, 4 clear of Norwich, as I've said earlier. I think West Brom are just hard to beat at the moment. That's their mantra, isn't it? They don't score a lot of goals, generally speaking, but they just make sure that they don't give matches up very easily. And I think that'll be another case on Wednesday night. But QPR's recent momentum will give them some confidence. So I'm going to take honours even and go Queen's Park Rangers 1, West Bromwich Albion 1. Well, there we go. Who knows what's going to happen this week? Who knows what the league table will look like? It certainly takes a bit of digesting at the moment to work out what's going on and who's doing what and where the sort of momentum lies. It's fascinating stuff. It's a great division to follow. I hope you all have a good sporting and footballing week. And no doubt I'll see you soon for the weekend's fixtures this coming weekend. Bye for now.